floods, with the mudslide around the Wager area or the Botiano.
Headed towards Kaswa.
Yes,
and all of
it's a
that.
thinking problem. I mean, why would we in the 21st century still award contracts to people to construct roads and gutters by the sides without covering the drains? Why would we do that? In the 21st century, today, we still have open drains and contractors are walking free. It's a thinking problem, I'm telling you.
But whenever we say it's a thinking problem, you mention, and I like the fact that you mention the drainage system that we have here, entering straight into the fire hydrant. That was the plan and vision of persons around a certain time. We know the history of
If it's not broken, don't fix it. If it's not broken, don't fix it. Look, go to Tema, for example. Tema is one of the best
developed
communities in this country. What did we do? In Tema, they had a central sewerage system, they had a central water system, electricity, and everything was well sorted. So, forgive me if you're having breakfast. If you flushed your poop in your home or your urine in your home, it's going to a centralized location. That in today's world, because of the modernity and the advancement of science and technology, we could have used that to generate some more electricity or use that, for some other biofuels, something else.
And manure and the
then we had some wise people who came up and they decided that we're going to be digging haphazardly, and they broke all the sewage pipes. So it got to a point where people flushed their stuff and people will be in their homes and then it will just pop up in their homes. So everybody now decided, okay, let's collapse the old system and let's all now have individual, it's a thinking problem.
A thinking problem, as well as a lack of individuals being able to enforce what we already have. Because the Tema you mentioned was planned, designed.
Yep.
Today, we're having, I don't want to call it settlements, spring up in different parts of the country.
Right. Even in Tema, there are slums now.
And it looks like nobody is watching, allowing for proper planning of these areas. And so people go, do what they can. Portions of the community which is supposed to be road, somebody's building on it. And there are so many areas today where it didn't used to flood 10 years ago.
Yeah.
One person put up one structure and suddenly it began to flood.
The places you talk about, you can talk about the Dansoman Snake floods, thanks to Ignatius Kutwe Champon, Colonel General. You can talk about the Awudome Estate, you can talk about Feoyo, you can talk about Tema, you can talk about many other places that... Sakumono, you can talk about Dansoman. Places that have been developed beautifully. You know what they did? They identified the land, they developed it, right? They planned it, they identified the land, they planned, they built before people moved into it.
Exactly.
In present day Ghana, we identify the land.
We are building and we are moving.
We are living in, and then we start building, and then before we start planning. So that you find that most of the new communities that have come up, it's actually somebody's home, somebody's land that he has abandoned for a long time, that has become like the area football pitch. Or the
recreation areas,
or the area taxi rank. So when the person decides that finally I want to come in development, then everybody says, it's for the community is being using it, you are so wicked. But you are living in your property, you have your land, your 70 by 100, you have it. Maybe you have even 2 plots, you have it. His 1 plot, or maybe his 1 acre suddenly must become yours because and I saw a certain situation around the Spintex Road where people have been using somebody's land as a thoroughfare for a very, very long time. Suddenly the man, and they all had their homes built. Suddenly the man comes and says, I also want to develop my place
and also
come and live because I'm due for pension in 2 years. They say, no, it's a thoroughfare. They say, thoroughfare is saying, it is my land. So we build. Look, if you go to Dansoman, for example, and I keep going back to Dansoman, just along the Kutwe Champon Highway, or it's the Kutwe Champon Lima Highway, one of the highway, the main highway. There used to be a Dansoman Children's Park. In Kaneshie, we used to have Kaneshie Complex. You go to the mini de Tema. You go to Tema. There are recreation for children on Saturdays to go. Pretty much like what you have in Kensington Park in the UK, where children can go out there with their people, with their dogs and their families and everybody. Just breathe some fresh air, enjoy some greenery. Have a picnic, family time, bond, and come back home. You don't have to be indoors all the time. Show me any of the studio apartments that are being built these days, and show me what levels of greenery is even inculcated into that.
The greenery is rubber.
It's rubber. It's turf that is put there. Then it's tile, and then it's glass, and then that's it. So you are consuming more electricity by putting on your AC, because without the AC, the place will be
very
as hot as hell.
Very, very hot.
So what are we doing really? Today it is raining. Ideally, in the past, you had homes, and I'm not saying that we should all have homes that was just dusty.
Yeah.
But back in the day, you had homes that were dusty, or you had homes that had some grass, and the water would just quickly seep into the earth, and it would not run off, hit the tile and run off. What do we have today?
Everybody is building such that the water runs off.
We are just in a fine mess.
Yeah.
The mess, we have created a mess, but we have fine-tuned the mess. So we are in a fine mess. We live like in a baller house, but we have painted the baller red, green, blue, black, multicolored. So it looks nice. It's a beautiful baller, but it's baller anyway. It's baller anyway. And authorities need to be paying attention to some of this. I've made suggestions to the assemblies that, look, if Mawena comes to you and he has a 70 by 100 plot, and he says, I want to build a place that I can lay my head, but I'm going to dedicate 20% of my property for greenery. So I'm going to have a backyard garden, and then aside that, I'm going to have some lawns, blah, 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 blah. That Mawena projects that he has, because he's dedicated 20% of that land size to greenery and to help our ecosystem and everything that we are fighting for, whatever it is, climate change, blah, 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 blah. Give him a discount on his property rate and also his building permit. Give him a discount.
Yeah.
If somebody comes in and says, I have 40%, I'm dedicating 40%, and there must be strict compliance to it, 40%, give him a bigger discount than what we give Mawena. And if somebody comes and says, I don't want to have greenery, I just want to tile and have all glass and rubber, charge 100% and charge extra that you give to Mawena and the other person as compensation. Because when the water runs off from their home, it will come to yours. But yours has provision enough to absorb the water.
Yeah.
His doesn't have provision. Why should you all be paying the same amount of money? People should be rewarded for learning to apply common sense, as Abolo will say. Yeah, it's common sense. We should be rewarded for applying common sense. We should be rewarded for applying common sense.
Else we'll continue to run around in circles and have this conversation every morning.
Look, pretty much like what we do. People these days don't depend on ECG. Even though the power is constant, people over the time have learned not to depend on ECG. So they have their own solar systems that they use. People over the time have decided not to depend on Ghana Water Company. So everybody is drilling
boreholes and all of that.
That's where the problem is. So let's say there are 10, 15 houses lined up like this, and everybody has dug boreholes. You know what you have done to their homes? You have created fault lines, and you have created literal holes under the homes. So a little shake, we're all going down. Now, if I dig my borehole next to yours, and I'm not so lucky and I dig it closer to your manhole, you can imagine what I'm drinking.
All of these.
So the system has to work. So every now and then the people have, what do you call it? When you eat somebody's typhoid. Every now and then they have typhoid, and they don't understand. They think it's some witch somewhere that's bewitched. Nobody's bewitching you.
Yeah, I think at some point this year there were reports of very crazy numbers in terms of typhoid in, was it the Volta region somewhere?
Yeah.
But in the last month or so, I've had I think the last 2 months, family, friends, all complain about having suffered typhoid in one form or the other.
Typhoid?
Yeah.
Means that you've been eating things.
Yeah. You understand? And I'm saying this to feed into the argument you're making that a lot of people persons I know, actually.
Right.
Persons I interact with, I've had my family and friends as well, all report having to turn up at the hospital for typhoid.
You know, one other cause of typhoid that maybe the authorities have not paid attention to. There may be many people in this country who are producing what we call pure water or sachet water without the requisite approvals and without the proper sanitary conditions. I mean, really, what do you need to produce pure water? Get somebody to print the rubber for you.
And you get the machine which seals the entire
So
thing.
this whole reverse osmosis concept that is supposed to be the approved way, a lot of people don't do it. And it's been on social media now. People, pick a sachet water and they can show you, take a closer picture of it or a video and you can see organisms in there like that. But you see, in traffic, where usually people purchase these things from, they have no time to check for these because the person is in the heat of the Trotsky. His lips are so parched. He just wants to drink water. It's chilled. They give it to him. He wipes one portion of it. That's it. He's gone. He's drinking it. Now, even the person who is picking the water to put in that container to come and vent for you, right? How clean is the person's hand? How often has the person used the washroom without actually going to wash his or her hands with soap and under running water? How many times has the person visited, or gone to do number 2 in the White House, right? And come and continue selling for you. Food vendors. We know how some food vendors just excuse themselves. They go to the next gutter, they go and pee, and they come back. They just find some water and then they just put their hands in there like that.
They just shake it and they feel they've washed it with soap and all of that.
And then it's done. A public health conversation must be extended so that people are aware that somebody comes straight from the washroom, wants to sell food for you. You tell them, say, hey, madam. The same hand that the woman is using to scoop the wachi for you or the rice for you,
sometimes
it's the same hand that is using to take the money from you. And where has the money been?
That's the exact point I was going to.
Where has the money been?
They take the money, they drop it, they change, then they are going back scooping.
So where has the money been? Kenke sellers, banku sellers, where has the money been? I mean, it's using the same hand to roll the banku for you.
And he's using that same money
to collect the money and to change it for you. And where has the money been? Because we know that in this country, forgive me, but people use public toilets and they pay with money and they get change at that same location. We know that people go to urinals, like one we have at Linda Doe, etc. They get change from those places.
I mean, money travels.
People go to go and buy charcoal. People, all manner of things. Trotsky's, everything. Charlie, we need to be serious.
Yeah, we need to watch it. But let's make way for